So I want to help you avoid misinformation, which I'll just define as information that doesn't improve your life, that doesn't help you in any way. We all have one big problem these days. We are getting bombarded with information every single day. Like, so many people are getting so much information and also so much useless information, and they can't remember any of it the next day, or only small parts of it. So even though we have so much information, we can't even process it anymore. Crazy. Now, the past 2 to 3 years have changed us all tremendously, if you wanted it or not. And they have especially affected our beliefs. And maybe you're at this point where you don't really know who you can trust anymore. Should you trust the science, the experts, the alternative guys because they're anti-mainstream? Or should you just trust God at this point? Well, I'm someone that searches for solutions. And as you may have noticed, the mainstream isn't really in it for solutions. They don't want solutions because the big companies there, they don't want solutions because then they're gonna lose customers. Not good for the money. That's the money aspect of this whole story. Anyways, what do I do? Like, I'm deep in some research at the moment, and I'm finding out some new stuff, and so I thought I would make this video. It's part of the reason why I'm now in nature and not in my studio, because I realized this studio was making my health worse. But what do you do? Or what do? I look in nature, because the way that we used to live, when you really look at studies and all of that, I don't want to talk about why we weren't all just getting 40 years old. Like, we were getting a lot older in nature. And you're gonna find out that these people were super healthy. Like, nature is perfect in itself. You're not gonna find disease there, really. And okay, there's one thing that we could say that is wrong in nature, and that is kind of that we exist and can destroy it. But that's a topic for another video. So ask yourself, is this information natural? Is this new thing, does it make sense? Is this natural for me? And then, like, on the topic of nature, I want to say, if you look at animals in nature, for example, like wild cats, you're going to find out, dude, they're super tough compared to us. That's what most people will say, well, their life is so hard. Honestly, I don't think that's the full truth. It is true that their life is harder than ours, but our lives are harder in a different way these days. You see, a wild cat can just listen to its instincts most of the time, and that's what it does. For us, that's very different. Look at something like TikTok. It's literally designed to make you addicted. It's like a gambling machine. This is what the whole system is based on. So all of these things, whether it's pornography that is like so common nowadays, or some other stuff, it always affects your caveman brain that is still in there. And so what you're gonna find out is that you have to fight against your natural instincts nowadays to develop these two things that most people are lacking: discipline and meaningfulness. If you develop these two things, you're gonna be very different from a modern person. This is kind of what this video is also about. So I wanna get to the first actionable step that you can do. If you wanna bombard yourself with less information, then you need to cut out certain things. For example, social media. As I just mentioned, TikTok. If you have TikTok, I don't care how old you are or if you delete it. Unless there's one thing, if you're using it to upload stuff and you're never using it to scroll and personal stuff, that's okay. But only then. And the same goes for Instagram, in my opinion, because if I think about it, I don't think I've ever really learned anything from Instagram. So delete it, unless you need it for like some business stuff. Okay, but then only use it for that. And if you do need to use it for some reason a day, like for some personal stuff, set yourself like at, let's say, 6 p.m. You have 1 hour to be on Instagram. And maybe you're gonna have to set yourself a timer. That's what this comes down to, because these things are destroying your life, basically. They're stealing your life. For example, even WhatsApp. I'm super strict with WhatsApp. I'm using WhatsApp once a day. Sometimes I forget it, but I'm using it once a day because if you're reading, if I would read some messages right now, like it's on airplane mode so I can't see it, and I would read some messages, I would think about that all the time now, especially if I don't answer it. And I'm gonna think about it all the time. It's like 2 seconds, I look on it and I'm gonna think about it for the next 30 minutes. And so you have to cut out these things to be more in the moment and to be more of a thinker. And that's where we get to the second point. By the way, this is an actionable step. So I want you to pause the video and delete these apps. TikTok and Instagram are an absolute must, and maybe you have problems with other ones, maybe even YouTube. That would be a bit unfortunate now, because then you can't watch this video till the end, but maybe you can watch the video till the end and then delete it. But it's very important, cut out these things. Then, next thing, you need to cut out news. Now this might be a very big topic for you, cutting out news. Oh my god, I'm gonna miss out on all of this stuff. Listen, I kind of grew up in this way that we never really watched news because my mom really was against it. And I'm really glad that she did that. That's part of the reason why I'm a lot more of a thinker than other people are. Because I think for myself and I only choose information that I really want. You see, I'm not just choosing information that I want that tells me how great I am. That's not what this is about. I just really think about things and not just watch the news. You're programming yourself. Every time you're watching something, if you're watching something negative, someone's talking to you negative, it's gonna affect your mind. You can try to be positive all the time, think, smile, and you can maybe counteract it, but it's gonna take a lot of brain power. And why don't you just watch something else? You would be surprised that your opinion is really just based on what you're watching every day. That's your opinion. It's horrible in some way, honestly. And by the way, if you're struggling with this idea and you may say, well, what if my friend comes over and tells me oh, aren't you informed? I want you to be 100% confident in this, okay? You're gonna tell your friend, no, right now I'm doing whatever, researching so much on this health topic because it's really important for me. Why don't you sum up the news from the past 2 weeks for me? That's perfect. You're getting a sum up of the most important things for your life in the news in 10 minutes? I don't think it's gonna take any longer. Perfect. You saved so much of your precious lifetime. This is what this is all about. Now let's move on about this whole misinformation topic. We also have to talk about what people you can trust. So, for example, should you trust the experts, yes or no? Well, I want you to think about things logically first, and then I'm gonna tell you my super power hack, kind of. Think about it logically. Someone tells you about health and looks like shit. Probably not worth your time. You can, of course, think about it. Maybe he just looks shit because he looked even more shit 3 months ago. Okay, that's a bit of a different topic, but I remember some time ago I saw a clip of some vegan guy saying, yeah, meat is so bad for you. It doesn't make any sense to eat. And he literally had dark shadows here and looked like a modern freak. I was like, dude, who's gonna listen to you? But apparently, the clip was shown to me in a video, so it must have been other people probably watched it. That's horrible. Why would you watch a guy like that? Then you have to go further. You have to ask more questions. For example, what's their business model? What's my business model? What's your doctor's business model? Is your doctor that healthy? You have to ask all of these uncomfortable questions. And for example, with your doctor, you might tell me, well, he's an expert for lungs and maybe he isn't 100% healthy, but he knows a lot about lungs. Yeah. Then what's the outcome of his patients? Are they getting healed or not? Now, the point of this whole video is what I'm gonna talk about now, because you're gonna find out at some point you're gonna have pros and cons, and this guy says this and this guy says another thing, and they all have pros and cons, and you keep thinking, and you can't. There are studies for this guy, studies for that guy, and you have to make a decision now. because watching them both will drag you in this direction and this direction, and in the end you're not gonna go anywhere, you're gonna stay stuck. So what do? Well, my recommendation is, you may laugh now, I listen to my inner feeling at this point. And I can tell you I've not regretted it one time listening to my inner feeling. And I don't do this all the time, you know. It's not like I changed myself in that way now that I only listen to my feeling now, because I think what's then gonna happen is I'm gonna become this guy that only scrolls on his screen because I only listen to my feelings. Or feelings, like, you know, we could talk about what feelings are, but I think you get my idea. At some point you just feel like someone's more right than the other. Go for that guy. And honestly, with that whole topic, what I said earlier, maybe you're realizing now, well, this one guy, he doesn't look healthy, or he doesn't seem healthy. It's okay to be wrong about persons, about everything. I've also been wrong in the past about certain things. Not like, you don't have to worry. It's not like that my YouTube channel is now it's now filled with wrong information, but I mean like things that I had in my mind but didn't share until now. I realized they weren't 100% true. And that's okay. We all make mistakes, but it's very important for you to realize, hey, fuck, I made a mistake. I watched the wrong guy. It happens to all of us. But then you have to go and say like, okay, so what I researched the past 6 months was maybe not as important as I thought it was. But now I'm somewhere else. Now I have a new chance. Just go at it again, like a baby basically, that just stands up again. It's normal to fall. So if you're smart, you're gonna listen to the mistakes of others, and you're gonna listen to your inner feeling, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. So I hope this video provided some value to you, and soon I'm gonna reveal parts and pieces of why I'm outside and in the sunlight now, not in my studio anymore. And I think I have figured out very, very, very important parts for our health. Alright, see you then.